city.
Dang. I need to change that. I think to change that number. So we can see, boom, okay. Okay, you got this right here is freaking Bantu. All these tribes are Bantu, which means we don't descend from
Yeah, that
Bantus.
would just further prove that Bantus are mixed people. Because why is that like 12 different tribes?
Yeah, they must, and they're not even the real Bantus for real. But yeah, that means they're all mixed up. Mandinkas, right? Which we're not. We're not from no Mandinkas, and we're not from no doggone pale face YT guy. We're not from them either. But this is after they took it away, right? You see how that we're have some distance from them,
Yeah.
and then somehow when they took away the so-called European admixture, yet admixture would have to be a lot closer for that to be admixture. But then they removed it. Boop. All right, let's make y'all closer to looking like you're African. All right, I don't understand how those same PCA dots, right? Them same dots are not on this chart. So clearly there's some type of information that they're missing out. I mean that they're not putting in here, or something that they're doing that they're not giving us the full like scope of. Cause how?
I wonder what cluster the Native Americans have.
Oh dear.
Because I know it's probably not just gonna say Asia, unless they lied about that too. It would have to be low key all over the globe, honestly. Because that is the most mixed group of people I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-mm. So my question is, how come these people are their own set of people as Yorubas, but then you see how we have our own certain cluster, but we're not our own set of people, and we just show how we don't descend from Bantus, we don't descend from Mandinkas, we don't descend from the YT man. So it's just Yorubas. We're just straight Yoruba.
Clearly not, because look, they're different colors. Why are they different colors of just the same?
Because they're trying to
They're different.
categorize it for us and say why our genes are genetically why our components are like distinct and different and have our own cluster.
And then look, they can't be testing against any real Africans because do you see how many dots they put for us? Because we're taking all the DNA tests, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't put nothing there. There's almost nothing there for the other groups.
Yeah,
Because ain't
even
nobody test.
no Ebos, no nothing.
We're all the other West African countries, whatever. This is only like 3 different groups.
Bantus include all those demographics though. All right, all of these. So so-called Bantu, we're not none of these people. So we're not a part of
There's
no.
no some of these tribes are from completely different countries on this other side of the world, on the other side of Africa. How are
Well,
they
well,
all Bantu?
well. It's supposed to include. Hold on a second. Let's look at that.
Look, Kosa is in South Africa. I saw East Africa on there. That's what in the world? And then I saw a West African one. They're all Bantu though. That don't make sense.
Did you see West Africa? Let's look at this.
When you go back to all, let's check it.
Okay, this is so-called Bantu, right? So-called because they're not even Bantu for real. But all of that is supposed to include the Bantus, all of that, and they saying they started from here.
Mm-hmm.
But like that doesn't make sense. So all of this, we're not close to being descendants of these people. Now they'll say, "Oh, that's because you're all these excuses." That's because the reason why you're not descending from these people is because you're so diverse. No, a divergence to make you genetically distinct from a group of people would have taken an extremely longer time. And then another thing is like y'all so doggone close to each other, y'all more related. You know what I'm saying? To each other, and
Wait, wait. I also
that would have
because
been 300 years ago.
they said we're Yoruba, but what about the Igbos in Nigeria? That's also Nigeria. I believe they're the second most popular next to Yorubas or something like that. Why didn't they put Igbos on there? How do they know what specific tribe we would come from? Because a tribe is like a social thing. You can do a genetic thing, but tribes are social. So how would they know which tribe we come from? Isn't Yoruba a tribe?
Yeah, I guess it would be in a way. Yeah, a
That's
people,
confusing.
Yoruba.
So how would they know if we're Yoruba or Igbo? That don't that don't make sense to me. How do they know we're not Igbo? Or what's the other one? Niger? How do they know we're not Niger?
Hmm.
Pretty sure that's another one. Or it could be another word for something. I don't know. It's what the Nigerian girls use. How they know? How they know? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You see, and they also playing around with this haplogroup stuff, right? Because a haplogroup doesn't mean that you're, and how they create these charts too about what a haplogroup is also like, and it's also, you know, messed up, you know. So they'll categorize and make a haplogroup, but a haplogroup, you can find a particular haplogroup all across the world, you know. But
So,
these would be categorized as different people.
so that's what I want to do. I want to find out who does these things, what job and career and degree you would need to do this stuff, and then I want to hire one of them people to tell me how they came up with these groups because that don't make no sense to me. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, they because we don't self-identify ourselves as what we are, they're therefore making up these theories and these lies based off no evidence that we genetically diverge from all these different populations based off, I guess, genetic distance. And for me, I personally, I think it's a bunch of BS. This is the reason why I said I don't like the whole let's take a DNA test because it's really based off the so-called fake history. It's not based off reality. Um,
I want to call the DNA people, the DNA test people. Maybe take a DNA test and then call them up and ask them to explain how they came up with that stuff. And then I'd be like, well, I don't come from Africa. I have zero people on my tree from Africa. I want you to explain how you came up with this lie because not making no sense.
like for real, like haplogroup L, and they basing it and trying to station everything in that one little area right here. That's a bunch of nonsense. There's no bones, no grave sites that pinpoints all of these haplogroups into this one area of being coming from Africa, right? So this is based off a fairy tale, right? This is based off of what they
Yeah.
call a false premise, right? This is
Yeah,
based.
when you sign up, I signed up for Ancestry. When I signed up, they asked me what my ethnicity was, and this was last year. So obviously, last year I still identified as African American. So I put African American. That's what I marked down. But so I wonder if I take a DNA test, it's automatically going to say African. I wonder if I make a new account and put my race as European or something or Asian, will my test still come back African? I wonder.
Right.
Or maybe I should just because I ordered a DNA test kit thingy, but I didn't send it in. So maybe I should make a new account and put my race as Asian or something and see if it comes back as African.
They be playing around for real. I'm not gonna lie. Look at this. So this is what they be doing though. Like when you be like, oh, I'm this, that, and the other, they be like, oh, well, all of us come from Africa. We're all African descent. We're all mixed. We're all this. We're all that. Right? This is called a false premise. A false premise. So basically, they start. They make a statement, right, and then they try to base the argument off of their false statement. So all birds can fly and penguins can't fly, so penguins aren't birds, right? So it's them. They're playing.
These people
Yeah. Huh?
these people are highly delusional because there was this North African this North African clearly looked like a white person, right? And she was saying she's indigenous. She's an what's the word? Amazic or something like that? Amazigh?
Amazon, or something like
Yeah.
that.
But I was like, I read in history books that the Amazons were dark skinned. So I'm like, why do you look like a white woman? And the Africans were arguing with me. I was like, "Why are you arguing with me?" That's what the history books said. They said they were dark skinned with curly hair, and that's a white woman with straight thin hair. So, and you're saying that's indigenous. So I don't know. All y'all
Let me
just
see.
liars.
They
Yeah, it's like AMIZG or something like
mm-hmm.
beach or something.
They be using terms like to do trickery and stuff, but this
Confusing.
point is we're not intertwining with the white man like people keep saying. Oh, you guys are mixed with the white man. We're nope. He's all the way over here. Until they started to alter the chart, they tried to make us closer to only the Yoruba, who are a mixed people. We did not intertwine with no Bantus, and we did not intertwine with Mandinkas. So this idea that we are so mixed is a false premise. It is a lie, and the estimations on those tests is based off the lie. Hence the reason why it's called a estimation, which means it is a educated guess.
And y'all need to like they need to check their self hate because why would you want to claim mixed people anyway? That makes no sense. If we're supposedly mixed, if we're
Mm-hmm.
mixed, that means we couldn't be your people, right? Because we would be mixed. So that don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would be mixed with like seven or eight different ethnicities and over 20 different tribes. So there would be no possible way that we could still be your people, right? That makes no sense. We would have to if you mix that much, you would have to have your genes would have to like mutate into something else. You would have your own separate gene pool by that point.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't think they understand how DNA works.
Yeah, I just think this is a bunch of BS. Estimations is based off the fake history, but the evidence does not show. Here's the reason why you will see stuff on DNA tests and it'll say, although, wait, although we have detected Nigerian DNA, and it's giving you an estimation, which is a what? What?
I
Hold on.
guess.
An opinion, a guess. It's somebody's opinion, right? We have not identified where your recent ancestors may have called home. We have not identified.
But they're lying when they say that because they have a separate section. It'll be like African American from Texas or African American from Louisiana. So how do you know my ancestors were from Texas and Louisiana if my DNA says Africa? How you figure that out?
Yeah,
That
it's
must be that that must be the DNA gene that they're labeling African, but they still tell you what state in the USA you come from. So that don't make sense. Don't
it's
make
a
sense.
bunch of nonsense. You see, because look on people's DNA tests, they like, oh, sub-Saharan African, right? Da 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 da. I'm West and Central African. They love to pull this up, right? This is their so-called Trump card, even though it's not a Trump card at all. It's complete rubbish, and it has no actual evidence. It's an opinion by a person they never met. By looking at their chart, that would look like
Look, that says Congolese and East African. Congo is in West Africa and That don't make them Southern East African and Congolese. Why are those put together? Those are in two different sides of Africa. What?
all right.
Mhm.
Hold on. I was like, why would you have no actual evidence to prove that? And basically, it stated, I said, why would you give percentages, but you have no evidence to prove that these people actually come from these people? And it said it's only based off what the reference panel has in its database at the current moment. So it's bound to send you back a result, even though you might not actually descend from these people ancestrally. So it's going to go based off divergence or what you're closer to. So even if you're on your own genetic people, right? If you know what I'm trying to say, right? Even if
Yeah.
your own people, it's gonna say this little piece right here is closer to these people. It's gonna give you an estimation.
And then I also want to know what people are getting kicked out of Africa because they cannot prove that they have African ancestry. But I want to know how people are trying to prove it. Are they using DNA tests to prove it, or do they need something else? That's what I'm curious about. Or do they not take DNA testing? Because I'm trying to figure out why people are getting kicked out if their DNA testing are showing that they're from Africa. So I'm not seeing what the problem is
Oh look.
unless they don't. Oh, your things on there.
But yeah, it's because they know DNA test is not it. They know that, and also the match confidence. It be showing them, but people just like ignore that. Like, look at this. It be saying you are 37% Nigerian, but then it says not detected. Why in the first?
37% not detected.
Yes. Why in the world would it give you a percentage, but then it tells you that you have no ancestral link to these people?
Wait, what's the comments say about it?
Like what?
They don't think that's weird in the
Hold on.
comments.
I gotta go back and try to find that. Let's read. Might you, by chance, be African American? Unfortunately, they didn't exactly keep a good paper trail of the atrocities of the slave trade. See,
What does that?
everything's based off the lie, so they can
What did
say
the
you
what
have.
does?
Well,
Hold on. If it's based on DNA, why would they need a paper trail if it's based on DNA? Girl, what is you talking about? What do you mean they didn't keep a paper trail? What does it have to do with DNA? You don't need paper if you're dealing with DNA.
so
What?
and
These people are delusional.
so let's see. At least that's what I've been trying to get from African Americans. I don't understand how other people are getting actual locations and ethnic groups under their results, but under almost all of my results it says not detected. It's because the locations and regions are crowdsourced. That this just means that you don't have enough DNA matches who self-reported that their grandparents were born in the same place. It's not at all related to how much of a given population you have in your admixture. You're not the
What?
only
No.
one. I know people on here who didn't get a specific region. It sucks, but it's not just you. Maybe in the future you would get more DNA relatives, and that could possibly update your populations for you. So you get an update about where you're from, right? Interesting. So it can change. Next thing you know, you can go from being 50% Nigerian to being 3%. Yeah, okay, buddy. Um, yes, I got nothing as well for 3 years now. Ain't that something?
Not the sad face.
Look at that. Same for me. I'm surprised that it's the case for me. Nothing, not surprised though. It's disappointing since my haplogroup is L2. But what? They can't find no connection. What? Nothing. No tribes, no nothing, right? But haplogroup L, that they keep saying that's from Africa, right? With no grave sites to prove it. No ancient remains to prove that. Not even connecting you to tribes, right? Nothing. Nothing. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I think I might take a DNA test. I want to see if it says. I want to see what it says. I want to see if it says not detected too. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen some of the tests. They can guess your skin tone, and it's pretty accurate. And I noticed for the light skinned Black Americans or whatever who take the test, it'd be saying they're more European. Their DNA is more European. It'll be like 30% or 40% African, and the rest will be European or Asian. Like, for the light skins, it only be showing up as 80, 90 for the dark skins. I noticed. I don't know.
This ain't that man. That's this whole thing is ballistic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's ballistic. These DNA tests is nothing but bogus. It's never gonna tell you where you from. See, the thing about it is as well, like people be matching up with people like cousins and stuff like that. Now, I don't know too much about that part of it, but I do know that we are not from these tribes that they keep telling us we're from. Maybe people travel um, and stuff like that, and it's telling you what is going on today. But we're definitely not from any of these populations. We're not.
And it really applies to all groups because even that European they got on there, they do not have all groups in Europe. They do not have the DNA of all groups in Europe. So I don't even know what that European DNA stuff means.
Yeah, this is a bunch of bogus stuff, man.
I
And you
bet
know
they're
what's
only
crazy?
testing, huh?
I was just gonna say the match confidence. It's take that to
Yeah,
take that.
23. Is this 23 Me or is this Ancestry?
This is 23andMe, I think.
Yeah, that's the one with the match confidence. I don't think Ancestry has a match confidence, but they be on 23 Me. They for sure be telling the truth, saying our match confidence, we're not very confident.
You see, and you see. So basically, they're saying, we guess that you might come from West Africa, right? They're not even telling you the tribes. They're saying we guess that you might come. 78% of you might come from West Africa, right? And then they're telling you we guess that 20% of you might come from Ghana or Sierra Leone, and the rest, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna chalk it up. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna chalk it up. That's what they doing. They say we're not confident. We have no genetic link for you for any of these tribes, but we're just gonna take an educated guess and give you the percentages for it. And
It
people
looks
think that's serious.
some of our people went to West Africa and it still says not detected. So that must mean it's a very small amount if that's still not detected, right?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I think when I you talking about when we detected, even although we've detected Nigerian DNA, that little portion right there.
Yeah, but then it says they haven't detected any of these people, but some of our people did go to those places. So that's still interesting that it still says not detected. That's interesting.
Oh, because it's such a small percentage, and eventually it
Yeah,
got erased, probably.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because
And then
they I had an African was like they were like unaliving our people or fighting our people when they got there in the 1800s.
I believe it. And then I'm thinking they don't. I'm thinking the white people on the test. I think they're just testing white people in the USA. I don't even think they're testing people from Europe. I don't believe they're testing people from Europe.
Yeah, so this whole we're genetically we're mixed with European, we could easily debunk that. Like that's so easily to debunk. Like that's so easy to get out. Um, because where in the French toast do you see Europe on this guy on this person's DNA?
But that's why I'm thinking when it says our DNA is
Eh,
from Europe, they mean people from
Uh,
they mean
uh,
white Americans because white Americans mixed in
well,
with some of
well,
our people.
well. It's only showing a percentage of his stuff, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think that when they talk about the percentages from Europe, I think that's talking about people that's
I mean
because
that's possible,
because
but
a
I
lot
only
of and they could have
I only
mixed. Who
don't
knows?
I only don't think
But
so because I don't
regardless,
think they're taking DNA tests, but that's just me. So I don't.
but regardless of that, I don't even believe really in barely any of that really because another thing is just it's telling us that we're not these tribes, you know, and it also says that for those people in Europe. So I just think they're basing it off of the fake story and saying that these people are all categorized as the so-called African American and they have their own genome. So let me guess where they come from, even though we're not linking them up to anybody. And that is what I see, and that it seems to be extremely evident to be very real.
Yeah, I agree.